Ava Thompson navigated the world with a silence that most people couldn't comprehend. At 17, her days were a dance of lip reading, a symphony of subtle vibrations, and the articulate ballet of American Sign Language, ASL. Born profoundly deaf, Ava often felt like an alien observer in a world that communicated in a cacophony she couldn't share. High school was a daily exercise in keeping up, understanding, and sometimes just pretending to understand. Most of her peers were kind, but their kindness was frequently laced with an awkward uncertainty, a subtle barrier that left Ava feeling isolated. Her true voice, the one that hummed with creativity and raw emotion, found its outlet in photography. Her bedroom, a vibrant chaos of art supplies and film negatives, was her sanctuary. She'd spend hours behind the lens of her old digital camera, capturing moments, a rain-slicked leaf, the intense gaze of her tabby cat, the intricate patterns of a spiderweb. These images spoke volumes to her, but when she shared them online, they often fell flat, unable to convey the full narrative she intended. One particularly gray Saturday, the rain drumming a muted rhythm against her window, Ava found herself scrolling through YouTube. Her screen flickered with a medley of life, vibrant travel vlogs, intricate makeup tutorials, animated gaming sessions. She watched a popular vlogger excitedly narrate his day, words tumbling out in a rapid-fire monologue. A familiar pang of frustration tightened in Ava's chest. If only I could just talk. Just share. But then, a rebellious whisper cut through the familiar ache. Why can't I? The idea, sudden and exhilarating, sent a jolt through her. A deaf person on YouTube? It felt audacious, terrifying, and utterly compelling. She knew there were already many inspiring deaf creators, but the thought of putting herself out there, Ava Thompson, felt like scaling a personal Everest. Later that week, she approached Logan, her next-door neighbor and oldest friend. Logan, a tech wizard with a perpetually messy mop of brown hair and a wardrobe exclusively consisting of vintage band tees, was her go-to for all things digital. He communicated with Ava using a fluid blend of basic ASL, texts, and a surprisingly effective array of expressive gestures. YouTube channel? Logan signed, his eyebrows shooting up in surprise. That's awesome, Ava. What would it be about? Ava hesitated, her hands forming signs with deliberate care. My life. My photography. My perspective. To show people what it's like. She tapped her chest. To be me. Logan's face broke into a wide, genuine grin. That's brilliant. You could teach ASL, vlog about your day, show your art, talk about deaf culture. Seriously, so many people don't know anything about it. I mean, I only know bits because of you. He pulled out his phone, already searching for equipment. We'd need good subtitles, of course. Maybe a separate mic for voiceovers if you wanted to narrate through text-to-speech, but let's just focus on clear visuals for now. Good lighting, editing software. His infectious enthusiasm was a powerful current, sweeping away Ava's doubts. A warmth spread through her. Maybe this wasn't so crazy. Maybe, just maybe, this could be her voice. Her way to finally break the silence. The first video was, in Ava's estimation, an utter disaster. She created a makeshift studio in her bedroom, a bedsheet draped awkwardly as a backdrop. Logan, perched on her beanbag chair, offered directorial advice, mostly involving moving the camera a little to the left. Ava, rigid with nerves, signed her introduction. Hi, I'm Ava. I'm deaf. This is my first video. Her hands felt stiff, her expressions forced. She stumbled over signs, acutely aware of the camera's unblinking eye. It took a dozen takes to get even that short snippet right. Patiently, Logan helped her with the subtitles, painstakingly typing out her signed words for her future, unseen audience. They titled it simply, Hello World, from a Deaf Perspective. The video got 6 views in the first hour. 3 were from her mom, 1 from Logan, and 2 mystery viewers. The first comment was an enigmatic string of emojis. The second merely said, cool. Ava felt a deflating mix of relief and disappointment. It's a start, Ava, Logan encouraged, sensing her crestfallen mood. Everyone starts somewhere. Remember that gaming vlogger who's huge now? His first video was literally him eating cereal in his pajamas. Over the next few weeks, Ava pressed on. She filmed short vlogs about her daily routines, showing her vibrating alarm clock, explaining the nuances of lip reading, demonstrating basic ASL phrases. She shared her photography, using her signs to narrate the stories behind her images. Slowly, painstakingly, she grew more comfortable in front of the lens. Her hands moved with greater fluidity, her facial expressions became more genuine, perfectly mirroring the emotions she conveyed. Her channel, Ava's Silent World, began to attract more subscribers. A few dozen, then 100. Comments started appearing, not just random emojis, but thoughtful questions. How do you wake up without sound? What's your favorite visual experience? Can you still enjoy music, even if you can't hear it? Ava loved answering them. She made a Q&A video, explaining her perception of music through vibrations, and how her cochlear implants allowed her to interpret sound, describing it less as hearing and more as translating. She even started teaching short ASL lessons, demonstrating common phrases and the alphabet. One afternoon, while editing a segment on deaf myths versus realities, Ava's phone buzzed with a notification. New subscriber, Briar Unsfers. Briar Hayes. The most popular girl in their grade. She was effortlessly stylish, always surrounded by a clique of equally polished friends, and navigated the school hallways with an air of confident nonchalance that Ava both admired and felt intimidated by. Ava had always assumed Briar barely knew she existed, or perhaps just saw her as that deaf girl. A knot formed in Ava's stomach. Why would Briar subscribe? Was it out of morbid curiosity? Or worse, to mock her? Ava had seen how Briar's group could sometimes be subtly cruel with their whispered jokes and dismissive glances. Later that day, in the school cafeteria, Ava was signing a quick story to Logan about a funny incident with her cat, using exaggerated expressions that made him chuckle. Across the room, she saw Briar glance over, then quickly look away. Ava's gaze lingered, catching Briar's eyes for a brief moment. There was no judgment, no visible smirk. Just observation. A few days later, a new comment appeared on Ava's video about the challenges of group conversations. This is so true. I never thought about how hard it would be to keep up. Thank you for sharing, Ava. Signed, Briar_Rose. Ava reread it, a strange mix of surprise and a tiny spark of warmth blooming in her chest. It was genuine. It was kind. This exchange kick-started a subtle shift. Briar started liking Ava's videos, occasionally leaving a short, thoughtful comment. Ava, emboldened, sometimes caught Briar's eye in the hallway and offered a small, tentative wave. Briar would return it, her usual cool demeanor softening around the edges. Then came the big wave. Ava had posted a video titled, More Than Just Silence, Why Deaf Culture Matters. In it, she passionately, and eloquently, signed about the richness of deaf culture, the history of ASL, the vibrant community, and how being deaf wasn't a disability to be fixed, but a unique way of experiencing the world. She spoke, through subtitles, about the frustration of being constantly told she was missing out, or should try harder to hear, when her identity was perfectly whole. The video went viral. It started slowly, then exploded. Shares, likes, comments poured in. News outlets picked up on it. Deaf organizations shared it widely. Ava's subscriber count jumped from a few hundred to thousands, then tens of thousands. Ava, you're famous, Logan exclaimed, bursting into her room, phone in hand. Look at this. The National Deaf Association linked your video. And there are articles, real articles, talking about Ava's Silent World. Ava stared at her screen, her hands trembling slightly as she scrolled through the comments. Thousands of them. Thank you, Ava. As a parent of a deaf child, this helped me understand so much. I always felt alone, but seeing you, so confident, so proud, it makes me feel like I can be too. You're an inspiration. Keep going. Tears welled in Ava's eyes, blurring the words. These weren't just views, these were connections. These weren't just compliments, these were affirmations of her existence, of her worth. She had found her voice, and it was resonating. The sudden surge in popularity was exhilarating, but also overwhelming. Ava's channel became a whirlwind of activity. She received interview requests, collaboration offers, and an avalanche of messages from deaf and hard-of-hearing individuals, their families, and curious hearing people from around the globe. Logan, ever the pragmatist, became her unofficial manager. He helped her sift through emails, set up better lighting for her videos, and even created a schedule for her uploads. "You're a brand now, Ava," he'd said with a grin, though he always treated her with the same easygoing friendship. Briar, surprisingly, became another unexpected ally. After More Than Just Silence went viral, Briar approached Ava at school, not with her usual coolness, but with a genuine earnestness. "Ava," Briar had signed, faltering slightly with the unfamiliar movements. "Your video, it was amazing. Truly. I never understood before how much there was to deaf culture. I'm really sorry if I ever made you feel invisible." Ava, taken aback, signed, "It's okay, Briar." "No, it's not," Briar insisted, her gaze steady. "I want to learn more. Is there anything I can do to help?" And so, Briar started hanging out with Ava and Logan. She started taking ASL classes online, practicing with Ava during lunch, her graceful hands quickly picking up the signs. She volunteered to help moderate comments on Ava's channel, expertly deflecting rude or uninformed remarks with polite, educational responses. Briar even helped Ava strategize content, suggesting topics that her hearing peers might find particularly enlightening. Her unique perspective as someone who had learned about deaf culture from Ava was invaluable. The support from Logan and Briar was a lifeline, because with the growing platform came challenges. Not all comments were positive. Some were from well-meaning but misguided individuals, full of pity and suggestions about curing deafness. Others were outright hateful, questioning Ava's intelligence, her right to a platform, or mocking ASL. Ava tried to ignore them, but sometimes the negativity seeped in, planting seeds of doubt. Am I really making a difference, or just opening myself up to judgment? Is it too much? The biggest challenge arrived in the form of an invitation. A prominent national news show wanted Ava to appear live, discuss her channel, and share her story. The show had millions of viewers. This was it, the chance to reach an unparalleled audience. But the thought filled Ava with dread. A live appearance? On national television? The pressure, the potential for miscommunication, the fear of freezing up. It was overwhelming. She imagined a sea of faces, all watching her, waiting for her to say something profound, something perfect. What if she failed? What if she disappointed all the people who looked up to her? She signed her fears to Logan and Briar one evening, her hands conveying the anxious tremor in her spirit. "What if I make a mistake?" she signed. "What if I can't explain it well? What if they misunderstand ASL? What if I'm not good enough?" Logan put a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Ava, you've already done so much. You've taught thousands of people. You've inspired me. And Briar here is practically fluent in ASL now, thanks to you." Briar nodded fiercely. He's right. And think about all the kids out there, little deaf kids watching the show. They've never seen someone like them on national TV, talking about their experiences, being celebrated. "You'd be their hero, Ava." She signed, "You are their hero." Their words resonated deep within Ava. She thought of the messages she'd received, the silent gratitude, the shared sense of community. This wasn't just about her anymore. This was about all of them. This was about shifting perceptions, opening minds, and forging connections. She took a deep breath, signing, "Okay, I'll do it. But I want to make sure I have an interpreter I trust, and I want to pre-approve the questions. No surprises." Logan immediately started typing on his laptop, already in tactical mode. "Absolutely. We'll make sure everything is perfect." The day of the interview dawned, a mix of nervous energy and determined resolve. Ava, surprisingly calm beneath the surface, chose a vibrant blue top that would make her hands stand out against the background. Her interpreter, a kind woman named Sarah whom Ava had worked with before, stood by her side. The cameras rolled. The host, a famous news anchor, smiled warmly. "Ava, welcome to the show. Your YouTube channel, Ava's Silent World, has touched so many people. Can you tell us, what was your initial motivation?" Ava met the camera's lens, her hands moving with confident grace. Sarah's voice echoed her signs, clear and strong. "My initial motivation," Ava signed, "was simply to share my perspective. To show that being deaf is not a tragedy. It's a different way of experiencing the world, a unique culture with its own language and beauty. I wanted to break down barriers, one sign at a time." The interview flowed smoothly. Ava explained the nuances of ASL, demonstrated a few basic signs, and eloquently debunked common myths about deafness. She spoke about the importance of inclusivity and understanding, not pity. She talked about the joy of connecting with her growing community online. At one point, the host asked, "Ava, you faced some negativity online. How do you handle that, especially being such a visible figure?" Ava paused, her gaze steady. "I focus on the positive," she signed. "For every negative comment, there are hundreds, thousands, of amazing, supportive messages. Those are the voices that matter. Those are the people I'm doing this for. To show them they're not alone, that their voice, their story, is valuable." As she signed the last words, a feeling of deep peace settled over her. She wasn't just the deaf girl anymore. She was Ava Thompson, a voice for a community, a bridge between worlds. The national interview was a resounding success. Ava's subscriber count exploded further, reaching numbers she'd once only dreamed of. Her message of empowerment and understanding resonated deeply with millions. The comments section of her channel became a vibrant tapestry of support, shared experiences, and eager learners. Logan was practically bouncing off the walls. "We need to set up a Patreon, Ava. People want to support your work. And a website. A merch store." He was already mapping out a future for Ava's silent world that was bigger than either of them had initially imagined. Briar, her ASL skills now impressively fluent, found an even more active role. She started helping Ava organize virtual workshops for schools, teaching basic ASL and deaf awareness. Their school even implemented an ASL club, championed by Briar, which quickly became one of the most popular extracurriculars. Ava, of course, was its honorary president. The biggest impact, however, came in the form of countless messages Ava received. Emails, DMs, even physical letters, poured in from deaf teens, parents of deaf children, and hearing people who felt touched by Ava's story. "My daughter is 10 and deaf, and she watched your interview 5 times. She said, 'Mom, Ava is just like me. She's cool. Thank you for showing her what's possible. I'm 15 and just lost my hearing. I felt so isolated. Your videos have given me hope. I'm starting to learn ASL because of you. I used to think being deaf meant a life of silence and sadness. You've opened my eyes to a whole new world.'" Ava read every single one, her heart swelling with a gratitude so profound it was almost overwhelming. This was it. This was why she had started. Not for fame, not for views, but for this connection, this shared humanity. Her life at school transformed. No longer was she just that deaf girl. She was Ava Thompson, the inspiring YouTuber. More students attempted to sign to her, often clumsily but with genuine effort. Teachers sought her input on how to make classes more inclusive. She still relied on her interpreter and lip reading, but the invisible wall that once separated her from her peers had significantly crumbled. Walking through the hallways, she'd see Briar signing with classmates, teaching them simple phrases. She'd catch Logan proudly showing off her latest video on his phone to a group of friends. She wasn't an outsider anymore. She was a central, celebrated part of her community. One sunny afternoon, Ava, Logan, and Briar were sitting in Ava's backyard, planning future content. Logan was enthusiastically sketching out a new camera setup concept. Briar was proposing a series on deaf artists. Ava watched them, a soft smile on her face. Her world, once so quiet, was now filled with the vibrant energy of purpose and connection. "You know," Briar signed, pausing her rapid ASL, "I used to think popular meant having a lot of friends, being invited to all the parties. But what you have, Ava, it's so much more. You're changing lives." Ava looked at her, then at Logan, who gave her a thumbs up. She hadn't sought to be a role model. She had simply wanted to share her story, to bridge the gap between her silent world and the noisy one around her. But in doing so, she had become a beacon. Her channel continued to grow, evolving beyond just a personal vlog. It became a platform for other deaf voices, a resource for ASL learners, and a powerful advocate for disability rights and inclusion. Ava, now more confident than ever, collaborated with other deaf creators, spoke at conferences, with her trusted interpreter, of course, and even started developing educational materials for schools. The silence that had once defined her had become her superpower. It allowed her to see, to feel, to communicate in ways others often overlooked. And through her journey, she taught countless others that true communication transcends words, and that the most powerful voices often come from the most unexpected places. She was Ava Thompson, and her silent world was speaking volumes. That will be all for today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. Goodbye.